Hey guys, it's the Movie Man, and welcome to my channel. On today's episode, we're going to talk about an old-timey Disney Channel original movie called Genius. So let's get started! So, as an 8-year-old, the movie Genius premiered on the Disney Channel. I was a little kid, I didn't quite understand what a genius was or what the term meant. But I started watching it, and I remember just thinking to myself that I kind of wish I could be this way when I get older. And Trevor Morgan, the actor who plays the main role in the movie, just did such a great job overall with his performance because really the entire cast and the movie overall are about as you would expect for a late 90s Disney movie to be. There's sad moments, happy moments. Then in the third act, there's another sad moment where every wrong thing the person did, even though they were for good reasons, come out and they have to do a bit of soul searching to figure out why they did what they did and who they really are. But then in the end, it all comes together, everything works out fine, and everyone is happy in the end. Now's the point where I get to the spoiler alert because this is my overall review for the movie. So, Charlie Boyle is a 14-year-old physics genius. And when I say a genius, I don't mean that he's smart. I mean, he's so smart, he's already been accepted by colleges who want him to help teach physics. As an 8-year-old, when that movie first came out, that just seemed uncanny to me. Like, there's no way anybody could be that smart that colleges and universities want them to teach other students before they even have a driver's license. It's just unbelievable. But then you get older, you learn more things, and eventually you realize that Disney was a little bit ahead of their time as far as showing how somebody could actually be as smart as that and making a movie about it. But one of the reasons why I think Trevor Morgan's performance should have won him an Oscar is because he was portraying essentially two separate people in the movie. Because you see, as smart as Charlie is, all he really wants to do is make friends and fit in, like we all did at 14. But because of his intellect, he somehow just doesn't manage to fit in with all the boys in the neighborhood. And despite being an accomplished hockey player, they just really don't want Charlie around. So when he goes to college, he gets this idea in his head to reinvent himself as a middle school student named Chaz. And Chaz is everything Charlie's not. He is lazy. He doesn't get good grades in school. All Chaz cares about is playing hockey and getting close with this girl named Claire, who just so happens to be the daughter of the hockey coach at the university where Charlie is attending and teaching. I should also point out that Charlie's lab that he's working in is right below the university's hockey rink. And at the beginning of the movie, the university hockey players, especially their team captain, love nothing more than to ridicule Charlie. But then, the hockey captain swallows his pride, goes to Charlie, and says, "Hey, I'm sorry for what I did to you, and I really need your help with physics because hockey's the only thing I'm good at, and if I fail your class, I'm going to lose my scholarship and have to drop out of school. And in return, you know, I'll talk to the guys and I'll get them to lay off. So Charlie agrees, mainly because, more so than wanting friends, I just don't think he would feel right letting somebody flunk out of school because they were mean to him once. And, after a couple of weeks, Charlie finds himself being popular as both Chaz and Charlie. But then, like they always do in the movies, everything comes home to roost, you see. The hockey team makes it all the way to the championship game. And the team captain and the rest of the team bring Charlie in and want him to sit on the bench with them as a way of saying thank you for all the help you gave us, even though we gave you a hard time in the beginning. But what Charlie doesn't realize when he agrees to do that is that the coach has also invited his daughter Claire, Charlie's crush, who has a thing for Chad but doesn't know who he really is, to be with the team as well. And he goes through some elaborate pranks too. Well, I shouldn't say pranks, but he goes through some schemes to hide his face because he knows that the coach knows who he really is and can blow the lid on his whole plan and everything. But, Charlie's experiment goes awry. It winds up, the team has to suspend the game, and then everyone finds out that Chaz and Charlie are the same person. And Claire gets angry because the university president had made it known to her father that if the team didn't win the championship, he was on his way out the door. So to say that he has no friends in either world is pretty much a safe bet. And it all culminates with Charlie apologizing to everyone for what he did. That he just wanted to fit in and have friends for the first time in his life. And that he knows a way to fix everything if they would just help him. So when the rescheduled championship game starts up, Claire and more of the people from Charlie's middle school help out rather reluctantly. And again, in Disney fashion, everything works out. The team that's supposed to win wins. Charlie gets the girl. The coach keeps his job. There's a happy ending to it. And for the first time, we see that, Charlie Boyle has friends his own age who like him for him. The fact that he's a super genius and that, he's also a decent hockey player. Now, I'd like to point out that the reason why this game or this movie is so good is because it was the first Disney movie I remember watching where, it showed bullying, not in an extreme sense, but, there were definitely pranks being pulled on Charlie that you wouldn't think that they would show in a movie that was supposed to be centered around kids. And I commend Disney for that because bullying is unfortunately something that affects a lot of people's lives. And I know all of us wish we could reinvent ourselves to make us someone who was popular, cool, or whatever. And Genius was the first movie to sort of play onto that. They kind of answer the question, well, what would a kid who's never fit in before but has the brains to be able to think up something do in order to fit in? And, it even nowadays on the Disney Channel and other TV stations garnered towards kids. We don't really see that anymore. And that's why it was such a unique movie. It was a little bit ahead of its time, and in ways it probably still is, because that whole stigma of you have to fit in, you have to have the right friends, and if you want to be popular, maybe you can't be smarter than everybody, or you have to be an athlete. It's something that still plays out today. So if anybody is, sort of wondering, should I change who I am just to be accepted, I encourage you to watch this movie. Because in the end, Charlie realized he didn't need to change who he was to make friends. He just needed to change his approach for how he made friends. Okay guys, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe.